enslaved Africans, to indentured servants, to indigenous peoples, to immigrants, to women, to members of marginalized communities. It's part of the history of America, and it's one that the labor union movement has fought steadily against and actually overcome. We simply can't discuss the role that our labor movement has played in society without recognizing its inherent intersection with these fights for equality, these fights for freedom, these fights for our American values. After all, it was the labor movement that helped fuel the civil rights movement in the 50s and 60s and helped galvanize communities of women, Chicano, and African-American workers alike. We know that labor's been in the trenches from the very, very beginning, and they have always been in solidarity with every other fight that this country has taken on, whether it's about race, gender, disability, or identity. And that's something that both Mario and Vinny understand. They show up for all the other unions, they show up for all the other causes, they march in solidarity time and time again. And so I really do want to recognize the invaluable role that organizations like the AFL-CIO and SEIU and the Teamsters and others have played in these fights for equality, and how important it is, your role in fighting for this future of this democracy in this country. There's truly so much at stake in this November's election that we simply can't afford to lose it. We need every member of every community, whether it's the labor community, the Black community, the Hispanic community, the LGBTQ+ community, disability community, or women's rights community, to come together, to work together, to organize together, to march, to knock on doors, to make phone calls, and to create the organizing structure that's necessary to win tough elections. Now, I'm pretty excited about what we're doing in New York State this cycle. You guys have your thing, I've got my thing, but they are working so well together. We've got an organizing principle for the coordinated campaign that I've worked with the governor and Hakeem Jeffries on, and I can tell you that is going so strong. We have made 1.2 million phone calls so far. We have knocked on 350,000 doors so far. We're averaging now 70,000 doors a week. We have 35 offices in just the 5 battleground districts, and we have 11,000 volunteers. Now, I'm sure your stats are even better because labor taught me how to do this, so I'm only a student of what you have already accomplished in this state. But that's what it's going to take to win tough elections. It takes touching voters multiple times and asking them, what do you care about? What do you want us to be fighting for? What can we do to make this community stronger and better? And then showing the work we've done in those areas, showing what we've delivered in those areas, showing that we can be a voice for the voiceless and all those people who feel so disempowered and so disaffected and so left behind. And I know labor has combined with Planned Parenthood and other advocacy organizations to do the same kind of battleground organizing, and those synergies are going to be amazing. I also know you have a bus tour, and I'm signing up for my days to be on your bus, which I'm very, very excited about. So in terms of the future and what we still obviously need to accomplish, we need to keep defending the NLRB and keep holding employers who break the law accountable. It is untenable that we continue to see employers taking advantage of workers. We have to create a robust ethics rules for the Supreme Court. It's absurd that our Supreme Court and Supreme Court justices are being wined and dined by the litigants in their courtroom that are actually putting issues in front of their court. It's absurd that billionaires can bribe our Supreme Court justices by just taking them on vacation anywhere around the globe in their private jets. That's what's happening with the highest court in the land, and all the issues that you care about and fight for are ultimately decided by the Supreme Court. We, of course, have to keep fighting for the PRO Act. It's outrageous that there are so many right-to-work states that deny the ability of workers to organize, that deny workers the basic ability to have a voice in labor negotiations, to deny workers the ability just to have a seat at the table. So that's why these pieces of legislation are so important, and that's why we have to get them passed. But we need a Democratic majority in the House and Senate to do this, and I know that together we can have a Speaker Jeffries, not a Speaker Johnson, which will make a huge difference. And I know that we can keep majority leader
good to see you, and thank you. Now it is my pleasure to introduce another friend of the Amsterdam News, U.S. Congresswoman Yvette Clarke. As a representative of the 9th Congressional District of New York, Congresswoman Clarke has dedicated herself to continuing the legacy and excellence established by the late Shirley Chisholm, the first Black woman and a Caribbean American elected to Congress, the first Black woman to run for U.S. President. In the 117th Congress, Congresswoman Clarke introduced landmark legislation which passed in the House, the Dream and Promise Act, H.R. 6. This legislation would give 2.5 million Dreamers temporary protected status and deferred enforcement departure recipients a clear citizenship pathway. Please welcome U.S. Congresswoman Yvette D. Clarke. So good to have you. And I love this work.
Thank you very much for the introduction, Eleanor. It is wonderful to see that you are still gathering our folks together for these conversations, and thank you for inviting me. Let me also give a shout out to my senator, Senator Kirsten Gillibrand, who stole some of my thunder by divulging the fact that we were both classmates, the class of 2007, and we also boast the next Vice President of the United States as part of that class as well, Tim Walz. To Mario Salento and Vinny Alvarez, congratulations. This honor is a mere recognition given the years that you have put into building this labor movement here in the city of New York. I inherited you from my mom as you were climbing the ranks, and it's just great to be here with you and to see this honor and be able to address you during today. To all the other labor leadership in the room, I've inherited all of you as well. Former 1199er, so I am quite honored to be here this morning. As has been already stated, I am Congresswoman Yvette D. Clarke, and I'm proudly represented. We're located in Central and Southwest Brooklyn, and I want to, again, just say what a pleasure it is to commemorate this 10th anniversary of the Amsterdam News Labor Awards Breakfast. It is impossible to overstate the vast contributions of the Amsterdam News. Let's just start right there. Not only to the New Yorkers who rely on this institution for fair and balanced reporting, not only for the countless journalists of color it has inspired over the decades, not only for the individual work that you have done to shed light wherever there's darkness, but for proving time and time again the vital importance of unwavering commitment to union journalism. Because as we each know, unions are an essential resource on the path to Black and brown prosperity and the continued advancement of civil rights in our nation. So let me just say again how truly grateful I am to be here with you today. And it's again my absolute privilege to congratulate today's honorees for their hard-earned and well-deserved recognition. Each of these individuals had devoted truly their lives to supporting union workers, the causes of justice, fairness in this nation, and I'm proud to celebrate their names today. But I'm proud to celebrate another dedicated advocate in the room with us. As you know, for over a century, Amsterdam News has remained among the most influential, continuously published Black newspapers in the nation. And that is due in no small part to publisher Eleanor R. Tatum, who has recently celebrated her 30th year of distinguished leadership of the Amsterdam News. I know we both don't look it, but it's true. Since the day she assumed the role as steward of this unique, very special publication, she has carried the legacy of her father, Bill Tatum, with dignity and grace. And that's why it is my absolute boost. Am I still on? Okay. Look, before I get to the introduction, let me just say that Kirsten raised some really, really good points. And one of the things that I had lamented back in 2007 when I first went into Congress was the fact that, quite frankly, the history of labor hasn't been told. That so many amongst us in our communities take organized labor for granted. Many have inherited sort of a legacy of understanding what union organizing has produced. I am a beneficiary of the labor movement. But for many in our communities, they don't recognize the power. And so I thought it was critical back in 2007 that we continue to tell the story. Like so much of the history of this nation, our stories have been relegated to the background, to the noise, and many don't understand that the people united will never be defeated. And so in this moment, I am excited to see the resurgence of energy. I keep telling people the boomers are on their way out. They're retiring. When I say out, I mean retiring. Mama's gonna be 90 in December, so retiring. It's that we have to make sure this next generation understands the imperative. Because as long as we are undergirding the economy of the United States, there will be those in power, in business, that will seek to undermine the gathering, the organizing, the work that is done as labor leadership goes in to negotiate humanity. That's all we're asking for. Treat us like human beings. Treat us like our work is what has made you. Treat us like our work, our skill, and our expertise is what has built this nation. And that's all we're seeking, and compensation and benefits that reflect that recognition. And so I am out there making sure in the House of Representatives that we continue to be the bulwark for lifting up organized labor. As Kirsten recognized, we have raised the PRO Act since I've been in Congress, time and time again. And I think that flexing some more muscle, understanding that the generations are now in a transition period, that we need to make sure that this next generation, next gen organized labor understands the value, understands the fight, the struggle, the sacrifice, honors that, and takes us to the next level. And so I am, quite frankly, excited. I want to be in the fight. I don't know about you, but it's worthy. We are worthy of this battle. And I believe we're going to be triumphant. I've seen how the young people, particularly during the pandemic, got it. A light bulb went off in their heads. Those gig workers and everyone else were recognizing the exploitation that was taking place. And they understood that when someone came in the room to organize, they were ready. They were ready to take up the battle. So to each and every one, again, let's stay in this battle. I know you're on the front lines. I see you out there each and every day. You're organizing, mobilizing, calling, cajoling, and also threatening those who don't get out to vote. And this is a monumental effort on our plates right now. It upsets me. It turns my stomach when I hear people say, "Oh, this is going to be a close race." Don't put that on us. We're going to blow this out.
All right.
Because this race cannot go to the Supreme Court. This race cannot go to the Supreme Court. So we have got to do what we have got to do. We have got to make sure that we turn everybody and their grandchildren out to vote in this upcoming election. Having said that, it is my honor to bring a dear friend, someone who I have admired, who has been steadfast and immovable in raising the voices and lived experiences of communities of color, of organized labor, through her leadership and her focus at the Amsterdam News. This morning, it is my honor and my privilege to bring to you none other than Eleanor Tatum. You better than that.
Thank you. My father, Wilbert Tatum, would be so happy to see this room today with so many members of union leadership, so many members of different unions here together to talk about and to honor the legacy of union leadership and to think about the times that are ahead. And to know that working together we can make a difference and that we can affect change and that we can see a future that hopefully doesn't look like 5 years ago. Yeah. And unions are powerful. They make a difference. They make a difference in everyday people's lives. They make the difference between a wage and a living wage. They make the difference between not having health care and having the ability to be able to be a healthy person. Without a union to support people, people are out there floundering on their own. A union makes the difference in many cases between life and death. Yes. Unions matter, and we understand that. And I just want to thank everyone once again for being here today and supporting us as we help to support you. Next, we have another friend of the Amsterdam News we want to introduce, an inspirational president of the National Coalition of Labor Union Women, the only national organization for union women founded in the 1970s during the time of Roe v. Wade, President Elise Bryant. President Bryant as an institution, and one of the purposes of newspapers is getting out the information that you're not going to see elsewhere. I appreciate being recognized as part of that ongoing effort to make real the promise of America and democracy. Please welcome Elise Bryant.
Thank you, Sister Eleanor. Hey family, how y'all doing? Good. My sisters, brothers, siblings, comrades, family. Good morning, buenos dias, assalamu alaikum. Howdy. I say to you, as I say to every class, every conference, every speech I get to give, welcome union members. We are in your presence, hand in hand together. We make the union strong. As my sisters in Clue know, I am not a soloist, I'm a choral singer. And a choral director. I grew up in Detroit. If you couldn't sing like Aretha Franklin, you couldn't sing. So I'm gonna sing a line to you and you sing it back to me. I don't care if the Glee Club teacher told you not to sing. I don't care if the nuns told you to stand in the back room and just move your lips. I don't care if the rabbi threw up both hands with oy vey ganug. I don't care if your children ran screaming from the nursery. No, Mommy. No, Daddy, don't sing again. Please don't sing again. This is not about what you can carry a tune in the bucket. Sisters, brothers, siblings. This is about communion. Com is a Latin word for with. Union is a Latin word for one. And we sing together, we are in communion. Y'all ready? Okay. Okay, sopranos is probably too low for you. Go ahead, take that octave above for you and your like to live. Altos, this will work for you. I used to be an alto before the cigarettes and the beer. Tenors, cigarettes and beer. Here we are, we're right here. This is where we are. And the bass, you're going to drop down there where you and Barry White like to live, okay? I'm going to take that octave below us, but we're going to get this, ready? Welcome, union members. Welcome, union members. Okay, I hear the sopranos and altos. I don't hear too much bass and tenor. We are in your presence. We are in your behind you and the person across from you and say to them, ready and. Welcome, union members. Welcome, union members. Yes, we are in your presence. We are in your presence. No, don't repeat here. We are. Don't repeat. Oh, we're doing it together now. 1, 2, 3. Here we go. Welcome, union members. I see you there, Paul. I see you. We are in your presence. Hand in hand together. Hand in hand together. We make the union strong. Okay, I bring y'all greetings. Give yourself a round. I know you're hungry. I know you're ready. Some of you already got some food out there, but I don't keep too much longer, all right? Here we go. I bring you greetings on behalf of the Coalition of Labor Union Women across this country. It's my honor and pleasure to bring the invocation to this, the 10th anniversary Amsterdam News Awards, and to our brothers, our honorees, Brother Mario Salento and Brother Vincent Alvarez. Congratulations, and thank you for the work you do to bring an excellent electoral organizing. I want you to take hands with the people at your table and join me in this prayer. We give thanks and honor to the ancestors who stepped off the slave ships, kissed the ground, and dreamed of this day. Let us honor the ancestors who came to these lands seeking refuge from religious persecution, poverty, and war, who still come to this land looking for that. Let us give thanks and honor to our indigenous ancestors, the Lenape Nation on whose stolen, unceded lands we stand today. Let us honor the workers who have harvested and prepared the food we are about to receive. Let us pray for the day when every worker who built the wealth of America with their blood, sweat, and tears will be given the wages and benefits they earn and deserve. Ashe. Aho. Amen.
Amen.
So President Bryant wasn't joking. You can actually eat now. And if you've already had one, you can get seconds. There's lots of food. So please go get something to eat. We are hopefully going to be receiving the water and orange juice any second and the hot tea for you. So that's going to happen. So please mingle, eat, enjoy, and we'll be back up here in 20 minutes to receive, 25 minutes to receive Governor Hochul. Thank you so much.
Saturday morning, after work, Saturday after Labor Day.
Hello again to I met you at the Sonos event you did with one of them
They said, feel like you're practicing.
I'm well. How are you?
Good to see you.
I'm well.
Still nice, though. Really.
Very day.
Well, you know, you come to Saturday, so that's by like 70 and 70. Oh, okay.
I called him up. I wanted to be a little careful on that.
I'm a beneficiary. Well, good for you. These gentlemen over here. She will be 90 in December. Her and my dad went back to Jamaica after over 60 odd years. But they come back again. So Mom will be here for the election. She was a pledged delegate in the convention, so she was living her best life. And congratulations. That's what I'm saying. Presente. We used to play. Good, I just texted her last night. Yeah. I'll be speaking with your folks too. I'll be speaking with your
There you go, there you go. Okay, got me. I got the email. I'm like, I'm wondering where it is, but I'm like, I'm driving. I'm like, this is straight sense. I call it okay. Instinct was saying that down. Yeah. That's exactly what I was doing. But you know, I got the email, but I get that because I know what I'm doing, right? Good to see you. I like this place. I love that. Get ready. One more time. Get ready. Oh, yeah.
Like next week is going to be good.
There you go. Good to see you.
There's a lot of cars.
I did that last time.
I love your Facebook post. It's like a map of the world. Or at least the tri-state areas, you know? And I don't know. I'm still convinced that there are two of you.
That's what everybody says. Nobody but you. Forget the other one.
And I heard about a move. Very nice.
No, just personal. I'm at the AFL now. I'm working with Terry.
They're the worst, man.
They're the worst?
The AFL-CIO, the worst. The Central Labor Council. The best.
So it's been 3 weeks now, so I'm still like learning the whatever, right? Mario's a good teacher. Mario's a great teacher. Did I tell you how great Mario is?
He's been here a couple, he's already sucking up.
And it means on the paycheck, that makes a difference.
That didn't take long.
Does it bring you up to Albany much, or do you just stay downstate?
I go to Albany, probably January to June is going to be a lot more,
Your legislature session. So what's the stuff you're working on?
So right now I'm learning the job, right? Primarily doing a lot of work with the campaign, right? So I'm doing like 2 or 3 different events a week or whatever, showing that labor supporting, the Harris campaign. So I did 2 of them Saturday. I did 1 of them in Houston. I did Harlem and Queens yesterday. Saturday, whatever. It's just like a lot of that type stuff or whatever. And the other people is learning the job. I do what I do.
Congratulations.
Thank you,
I'm
man.
kidding. The NFL's a great place to go.
Thank you, I appreciate that. It's gonna be good. Lining you up.
Messed up my egg this time, but you're the only one who saw it. Yeah. Real. But I'm really so hungry, and I do appreciate that they provided for you. Including the extra stuff that I was getting. I am on
good show. How many people went? How many people came back? I participate. It is a nice book. Maybe like a protest. That's what people decided to stress it, right?
Greetings, everyone. We now get to sit down, so we're ready for Governor Hochul. If everyone can sit down, hopefully you've had something to eat. Water is rising. Thanks again to 1199 for this wonderful breakfast. Thanks to President Greg Floyd and Teamsters 237, our two big breakfast sponsors. Thank you so much. If everyone can sit down, so we're ready for the governor.
Okay, thanks.
Well, we hope that all of you have been able to visit with friends and colleagues and even get some breakfast. September kicks off with the 142nd New York City Labor Day Parade and ends with this breakfast and the special section filled with union journalism. Each one of you have one of these at your seat, right? And it's part of the overall newspaper. You can get our union newspaper, which is over there, and received by 18,000 print and digital subscribers and 150,000 unique visitors to amsterdamnews.com every single month. One of the largest readership and subscriber bases of any legacy black newspaper in America. We can't thank you enough for the overwhelming support for this year's breakfast. Over 20 unions investing financially. Every dollar you invest helps us bring complimentary copies of the newspapers into New York City public schools at a complimentary basis to those schools and those teachers and those students who might not otherwise have it. And as we all know, New York City is the largest public school system in America and the most diverse. Your investment also helps us distribute the newspaper to the New York City public housing system. Again, the largest and most diverse in the nation. And last but not least, your investment helps us pay for our union journalism that we do week after week after week, featuring the leadership of union leaders like President Greg Floyd and President Grisham. Our hope is that you will consider joining us in a closer partnership. I'm always available for you. And for those of you that are asking, how the heck do you pronounce your name? I'll say it again. Imagine you're shoving somebody off a cliff. Shove on. That's my name. And everyone asking what the keys are. Each one of these keys represent a home that I have saved or saved from the demolition law since I was in my 20s. My dad restored British racing cars. We were poor. We didn't have much money. But he put it in the racing cars, and then the money would go forward. The family rule was, don't go bankrupt. That was the rule. So that's what these keys represent. Now I bring my extraordinary leader back up into the stage, but before I do, please pick up your section, if you could, all of you. If you could. All right. And in the corner here, just scan that with your phone. And for as little as a donation of $5 a month, you'll get a complimentary subscription from us and all of our newsletters. Anything you can do to help our work would be greatly appreciated. And without further ado, I'd like to introduce my extraordinary boss, my extraordinary friend, and our extraordinary leader, Publisher Tatum. Please, a round of applause.
All right, thank you again, Siobhan. She's done such a fantastic job. Now, it is my incredible honor to introduce another friend of the Amsterdam News, somebody that has done some incredible things in this state and has made some things happen that have never happened before. The newspaper tax credit that has been passed in New York State is game-changing for small newspapers across this state, and it is something that is a leader across the nation in terms of what it's going to be doing for journalism across this country. Governor Kathy Hochul is the 57th governor of New York and a member of the Democratic Party. She's the first female governor of New York, and the first governor actually from upstate since 1920. I like to call Kathy Hochul, Governor Kathy Hochul, continue to do so. And with that, I would like to introduce Governor Kathy Hochul.
Thank you for being a leader of an organization that has really been the conscience of our city and indeed the nation for such a long time. And you mentioned the tax credit. As it became clearer to me that there's so many small publications, smaller markets, that were struggling, now more than ever, we need the legitimate news media organizations to be strong, to hire more people, to continue telling the truth in the face of so many lies, the fake news as penetrating our political culture, because people, especially young, are getting their news from sources that are just so biased and so wrong. And it's feeding this sense of chaos that is out there, that everything's wrong, you're bombarded with messages all day long. So, Eleanor, it was an easy decision for me to make. We had to come across a lot of headwinds, but that's what it's like in Albany. And we were able to achieve this, and I feel really, really proud that we were able to do something that's going to continue to lift up the Amsterdam news and make sure you are here for the next 100 years as well. Let's give Eleanor. Yvette Clark is in the house, a great friend of mine from our days in Congress. I want to thank her. I saw her at the convention sitting next to her mom every single night. They must have got there at 2 in the afternoon to get the best seats in the house. And I really cherish our friendship, and we worked really a long time together. George Gresham, thanks for opening up the house to us. $11.99. And of course, our honorees. And again, Eleanor explained and Shivani explained the confluence of starting off the tributes to labor over Labor Day and wrapping up with this incredible event that has a long history. And Mario Salento has been the voice of labor in such a powerful and impactful ways. I call on him often as we wrestle through the challenges facing our state as so many people are being abused in the workplace, and how we can protect them from unscrupulous employers who will take their salaries and wage theft, all these other issues we're working on. I want to thank him for being a champion, but also an ally of mine. Let's give another round of applause to Mario Salento. Fourth term in office. Vinny Alvarez, Vinny, building our city one block at a time. It looks extraordinary. You just lead with such determination, the men and women you represent, as we continue to show that there is no place like New York, and you cannot ever, ever think you can stop us. Let's give a round of applause to Vinny Alvarez. Greg Floyd, a longtime friend of mine, used to pay attention to me when I was lieutenant governor, back when no one knew who I was, right? He used to have me on the show. Phyllis was always calling, you're going to be on the show. And thank you for all you do. We had a great conversation about some of the issues that are facing his members. And I want to thank him for his leadership of Teamsters 237. And of course, all of you here today. I'm so proud to be here this morning, because when you think about the topic of this breakfast, the power of unions, but when you bring the power of unions with the power of people committed to civil rights, that is an unstoppable coalition. I mean, it goes back so long. I mean, when Dr. King marched on Washington in 1963, who was he surrounded with? Union members. I mean, they were his flank. They were his warriors going into battle every single day. So it has been a long time, an alliance that has been so impactful. And he recognized that organized labor and civil rights movements were fighting for the same goals, right? Fighting to lift people up, give them dignity, give them respect, give them a home, give them an education, give them the right to vote. So the alliance and the synergy between the two has always been there, but he was able to call it out so articulately. And he said our needs are identical with labor's needs. Decent wages, fair working conditions, livable housing, old age security, health and welfare, conditions that allow families to grow. He was right in 1963, and he's just that philosophy still holds here today. And you've heard me tell this story of my engagement with two issues: the labor movement. When I was a young child, my father became a union organizer
organizer at the time. He was at the steel plant and they went on strike. My parents had no income my first year of life because they were on strike I remember my grandparents were having to bring over food for us, and Grandpa worked at the steel plant. It was just a tough time when I was really, really young. And it had an effect on me, that you're willing to make those sacrifices if you're standing up for the right thing. And that has been part of who I am ever since I saw my dad in those struggles in our early days. But also, my parents were also civil rights champions back in the 60s. Now, it was not a popular thing to do in our white working class neighborhood. I will tell you that right now. My parents were working as part of a project called HOME, Housing Opportunities Made Equal. They were one of the founders in Buffalo. They would invite black families to sit on our front porch and let the neighborhood see who our friends were. And when they were able to finally get some people to be able to move into our community, and I'll never forget the image of the cross burning in their front lawn outside Buffalo, New York. My parents were welcoming them, saying this is wrong, standing up. So those are just small snippets of something I witnessed as a child that helped me understand the journey continues. We're not through with this. And that's why I was so proud to sign the law calling for reparations, a study of slavery in our own state. We are not clean from the sin of slavery. We are not. It is not just something that happened in the South, and I have a great group of people that are uncovering the stories now and trying to figure out how we can set things right. We've also worked on this John Lewis Voting Rights Act. I served with John Lewis, and we served with him in Congress. You know, I was elected to Congress in a special election in May of 2011. Gosh, a long time ago. And I had just seen John Lewis. I wasn't even elected yet. John Lewis was the keynote speaker at my daughter's college graduation. And to see the way he connected, this older gentleman, you know, we knew when he told the stories of the battles in the South that he was really on the front lines of. These kids stood up and hooped, and I've never seen so much enthusiasm in 20-year-old kids in my life. And literally 2 weeks later, I was his colleague in Congress. I went and told him that. I said, don't underestimate the power that you still hold to tell your stories. So he has been lost, and I miss him terribly, but he continues on forever with the challenges. About opposition. But my friends in labor, we need more workers, number one. And why not give people a chance after they pay their debt to society? Welcome them back. You're part of our family again. And that's what it was all about. And I'll tell you this, I'll continue to take on those fights. I don't mind getting knocked around. You know that about me. I will lead into a battle to do what is right and what is just any day of the week. That is what I learned from the labor movement. That is what I learned from the civil rights movement. And I'm so proud to be with all of you here today and continue the march. And onward to victory in November. Am I allowed to talk politics here? Yeah. Okay. All right. I would have gone a different direction here. Sometimes I'm told you can't talk politics. Okay. All right. Let's talk about this. My friends, we have to win in November to make Kamala Harris President of the United States. What I'm working on is making sure that Yvette Clarke is now in the majority with her friend Hakeem Jeffries as the Speaker of the House. Power. Talk about union power. And how I'm doing that, I have turned the New York State Democratic Party into something that it should have been all along, a powerhouse. Nobody harnessed that energy. It was only used every time a governor ran every 4 years and turned up the engines and got it roaring, and then it shut down again. What's wrong with that picture? We're leaving so many people. We're not building the farm team. I was the farm team. I was elected to this council 30 years ago. I've crawled my way up through every level of government. I want to invest races and help them as well, but this year it's all for everything. Everything matters. And I'm working hard to help them. I'm raising money, helping raise awareness, sending people on busloads from the city of New York. You feel pretty, so people that you can vote for you, can we send some of your people out?
Yes.
Okay. Make sure you vote for Yvette, and then get on a bus and go to a battleground area of Long Island, the Hudson Valley, or over to Syracuse. It's a beautiful state.
Yeah.
Go see it, get on a bus, and make a difference. And so we're going to bring it home, everybody. I feel so confident. labor, civil rights leaders, media organizations, and people just give a damn about our future coming together to take back our country and make sure Kamala Harris is elected. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you so much, Governor. So great to have you here with us. We look forward to talking to you much more during this election season and going forward. So now, going to some of our main acts here. It's so great to be, as I said earlier, in this great edifice, being here at 1199, and now I get to introduce another great friend of the Amsterdam News with 1199 SCIU President George Gresham. I have known George for many, many years now, I think, including fair wages, affordable health care benefits, dignified retirement, continuing education, child care, safe staffing, and a real voice on the job. He has led the union's growth to more than 450,000 members throughout Massachusetts, New York, New Jersey, Maryland, Washington, D.C., and Florida. And, you know, I see George as more than just a president. I see him as a brother, as an uncle, as a true, true friend. George, come on up here. Great to have you with us today.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
I want to thank Eleanor Tatum for being Eleanor Tatum and carrying on the great tradition of both the Amsterdam News and the Tatum family. I remember I was much younger and I used to sit and listen to WLIB and hear Eleanor's father, along with many of the people that I admired, stand up and give voice to the Black community. And that has not stopped. Since Eleanor took over, I know that Daddy Tatum would be is looking down and very proud of his baby girl, Eleanor, because she's doing the work. She's continuing. And I found out today the first thing about the internet and the people that's amazing. That's amazing, and I'm so proud to be a part of it. But we have a lot of work to do. I have a lot of friends, and I want to congratulate my two friends for their winning today. That's Mario and Vinny. Congratulations, two great voices of labor. 1199 works with them as close as we possibly can. So matter of fact, Mario's from my old community. I'm a little bit older than him, so I didn't go to the same schools as he did. But these are two working people. And then when you think about President Obama, they're sitting next to my favorite Romney in the world. And I don't, you guys didn't come here to listen to me, and I'm not gonna force you to do that because my executive committee is about to say amen. And I say, I'm long-winded, because I'm a country boy that's long-winded, but it is a real honor, a real pleasure to be here with like-standing people that we in 1199 are in Kamala mode.
Yes.
And that's all we do between now and election day. Other than this, but we consider this a part of Kamala mode because we're trying to encourage people and remind people how important this election is. And please, don't make me go back to 1963 when I first left the South, North. The conditions of this country, they're trying to take us back.
Yes.
We ain't going back.
That's right.
Any children in here? God damn it, we're not gonna go back, no matter what. And so we are committed to it, just like I'm sure you all are. We have to take every vote. Please, don't put your ears, don't Pay no attention to the polls. I don't care if they have us up by 50 percentile. Pay no attention. Think about 2016, when 2 weeks before we were ahead. Hillary was ahead. And one bombastic headline from an FBI director, and we lose this. They got some shit up their sleeve right now. I'm gonna tell you, they do. We don't know what it is. It's gonna come out at the last minute, and it's gonna be lies. But we gotta build up enough lead that we can survive whatever lies they come out with. This is too important. So thank you for being here. This is the most timely for us to get together with organizers and the media, man, two groups that reach out to the people and know what the people want. So it's my pleasure to be up here today. And who do I turn this mic over to?
All right, thank you so much. And now, I have the great pleasure of introducing another great friend to the Amsterdam News, Teamster Local 237 President Greg Floyd, who will lead the reorganizing of the 2024 10th Annual Amsterdam News Laboring in bringing this practice together this year. President Floyd leads the largest local in the 1.4 million member International Brotherhood Teamsters, Local 237, as well as serving as a trustee on the board of the New York City Employees Retirement System, one of the largest public pension funds in the nation, with assets of $210 billion. And he is regularly recognized as one of New York City's most powerful and responsible labor leaders. Please join me in welcoming Greg Floyd.
Before we begin, I want to recognize Assemblyman Landon Days. When did you get elected?
February 13th, 2024, sir.
Okay, he's newly elected. This is the first time I'm seeing him. That's why I elected him. So, my apologies. It is said all too often that an upcoming election is the most important election ever. How many times have we heard that? But pay attention now. This is really the one. It is not just about the next 4 years. It's about the next 40 years and generations to come. The burning question is, what can we do today to help assure that there's the kind of America we want tomorrow for our children and grandchildren? That's where unions come in. Union members come from every dividing line imaginable. Yes, we are united. We're united by one of our love for the country and love for fair play. Equality, justice, and dignity are not just bumper stickers, slogans that we print and drag out every 4 years. That's what we fight for every day. That's the nature of our business. We represent many voices and many voters. We can make a difference in an election outcome. And it's labor leaders like Mario Salento and Vinny Alvarez who know that. They have both worked decades to protect and preserve and provide for working families with equality, justice, and dignity. They help give workers hope and a future. In doing so, they are really deserving of the Exceptional Electoral Organizing and Impact Award. Mario, Vinny, please come up. This is a rare occasion that we get both of these gentlemen here on the stage at the same time getting awards. So this is very special. This is a special moment.
The podium might be in the way, sir.
Come from that angle.
You need help, man?
Here, I'll move it.
Here, please.
All right, and congratulations.
Well, thank you. Eleanor, thank you. Eleanor, thank you for the honor. George, thank you for inviting us into your home. Thank you very much. George, not only being, as strong as he is as a leader, he's an even better human being, and I couldn't have more respect for him. Thank you, George. We have several board members of the state AFL-CIO here today. Edgar Romney, my good friend, and Thomas Fred is here. And Helen Shaw is here. Helen is now on our board at the state AFL-CIO. And am I forgetting someone? It's always a bad thing to do, I forget. Anyway, thank you all. I am honored to be here this morning. I am honored to share the stage today with my longtime friend, Vinny Alvarez, and the Central Labor Council, and all that we work on together. Vinny was elected 6 months before I was, and it's been 11 or 12 years or so working together and all that we do together in the state AFL-CIO and the Central Labor Council. So that's an honor as well. And it's been said here today, I think for me, this award is oh, and Greg Floyd. Also, to me, this is a recognition of who the labor movement is and what it is that we stand for. And it's been mentioned here a few times, but going back 60 years in the labor movement, walking side by side and shoulder to shoulder with civil rights icons of the day for the Voting Rights Act and the Civil Rights Act. And that's who we are as a movement. I think this is, at least to me, a recognition of all of us in our movement coming together from so many different places and so many different backgrounds, but all working toward the same goal, whether it's legislative or political or whether it's grassroots. That's who we are. We embrace that. And coming from all of these different places, that diversity is our greatest strength. So many people outside of the labor movement think our greatest strength in New York is our size. And I understand why. They hear the numbers, right? They hear 2.5 million members, close to 3,000 unions under the umbrella of the state AFL-CIO. 24% of the workforce, right? Twice the national average. 1 out of every 7 members in the country comes from the state of New York. 50 states, 1 out of every 7 comes from New York. So I understand why people outside of the movement think our size is our greatest strength, but I always politely disagree. It's our diversity. That's our greatest strength. Our members come from every race, religion, culture, ethnicity, sexual orientation. If you want to be a member and you pay your dues, you're in a union shop, you're a member. No questions asked. Everyone is welcome, no one is turned away. On top of that, our members live and work, literally, in every city, town, village, municipality, locality, neighborhood, community, and zip code in this state, from the poorest to the wealthiest. That's unique. That's our greatest strength. When you marry the diversity with size, then we're making the most of who we are. And we're showing what it is and who it is that we are, which is all of us from these beautiful backgrounds, understanding that we all share a common bond. And it's a bond that says no matter who you are or where you're from, regardless of whether you were born in this country or not, regardless of whether your parents were born in this country or not,
regardless of your job title, your sector, regardless of the color of your skin, the religion that you practice, or your sexual orientation. We share a bond that says we all share the same needs and the same concerns and the same wants. And we all share the same values and principles and the same ideals. And those principles and ideals are basically this. We all want to be able to go to work every morning to support ourselves and our families. We all want to be part of the economic engine that runs this state and runs this country. And we all want to be productive members of society. That's what we want. But it's even more than that. I'll give you my own example. My wife, Andrea, and I have 3 daughters. They're 21, 19, and 14 years old. And at the end of the day, they're all in different places, right? They go to school, they go to work. But when we're all together, all I want to do for my daughters, as their father, as their parent, all I want to do is I want to nurture them, I want to protect them, and I want them to have a better life than me. I want them to have a brighter future than I had when I was their age. If you're a parent, that's what you want for your child. And if you're not a parent, that's what your parents wanted for you, because that's the American dream. The American dream isn't about owning a new house or buying a new car. Those are residual effects, the American dream. The American dream in this country historically has been that we want the next generation to do a little bit better than the generation before it. We want the next generation to have a little bit more financial security than the generation before it. We want the next generation to have a brighter future than the generation before it. And the point is this, that when all of us join together from all of these wonderful and beautiful backgrounds, when we stand together and join together and fight together and raise our voices together, then collectively we have the power to deliver that American dream to our children and our grandchildren and the generation after that and the generation after that when we stand together. And that's who we are. And I think that, to me, is what this is all about today and how we move forward. All the things that we've accomplished, whether it's legislatively raising the minimum wage and Tier 6 reform, and a few years ago passing farm worker rights, Farm Worker Fair Labor Practices Act, for farm workers who weren't our members, but it was the right thing to do to make sure that they had a day of rest and overtime pay and the right to join a union. We did it because we wanted them to have the same rights as everyone else. That is doing all we can. That's what making the most of our movement is. And moving forward, as it's been said here many times today, we have a singular goal. And that is, we know, we don't take anything for granted, but Kamala Harris will carry New York. Our goal as a movement, coordinating with our central labor councils and our area labor federations throughout the state, is to make history this year. Not only for Kamala Harris, but to ensure that Hakeem Jeffries is the next speaker for the United States Congress. We can make history. And so, I know from the state AFL-CIO, coordinating with the area labor federations and central labor councils, just in the 5 or 6 congressional districts where we know we can make a difference. We are knocking on over 100,000 doors. There's over 500,000 pieces of mail, 500,000 phone calls. That's just amongst us and what Vinny does and what we do together. That doesn't count what 1199 is going to do and NYSEN is going to do and AFSCME and CWA and the Early issue. All of us joining together with that singular goal, because that American dream starts on November 5th and what we accomplish. So I just want to say thank you. Thank you for the recognition of our movement. I accept this award on behalf of our 2.5 million members throughout this state. They make us what we are. Thank you so very much.
Thanks so much, Mario. It's great being with you here today and with everybody and all of our labor colleagues. I want to first just thank 1199 for hosting us, George Gresham and Millie Silva, who serves with me as well on the New York City Central Labor Council Executive Board. Thank you. Mario mentioned some of his executive board. I did want to recognize Joe Colangelo and James Davis, who are with us as well today. We serve on our board, and we appreciate all of the other labor leaders who were with us today. It's great to be with you. Thank you, of course, to the Amsterdam News, to Eleanor, to Siobhan, to so much of the work that you've done, really over the past several decades. I remember, I was saying earlier, I remember having a conversation, walked up the long steps of meeting with Bill Lynch many years ago, talking about, he says, come on up, Vin, and let's talk and have a conversation, and he gave me a little bit of an education about the importance and the value of having a weekly publication like the Amsterdam News, and focused on the black community, and focused on the issues and the concerns that they're dealing with, but also linking them together with the causes of the labor movement and the fights and the struggles that we're in. And they've done that so well over the years, and I've always remembered so many of the words of Bill and so many others over the years and what that means. It's really important, of course, that we keep at it. It's important that you have strong labor reporters, and I appreciate the columns that some of like Greg and some of my other labor colleagues do, George and so many others on a regular basis, reaching out, and that you're focusing on it. We need that in journalism, and we appreciate the Amsterdam News focusing and dedicating themselves to doing that because it is that important. So let me just say this, because we've heard from a lot of folks, and I just want to kind of wind this down and wind down our morning here talking about why we're here, because we're talking about union politics, the power, and the moment that we are in. And we know how important that is. And we know that all of you, and so many of you, have been on the forefront in the fight for labor rights and fight for civil rights over the years. And I should also recognize, I see out there some of my brothers and sisters out here today from CBTU. And, I want to remember also Bill Lucy, who was a giant, who we lost this week as well. There are so many of us over the years fighting to bring that link, to make sure that we have that strong link between politics, between power and communities. We see it on the floor and out in the streets, on the floors in our union room, in our workplaces, in the union halls, and out on the streets. We see it here in the 5 boroughs of New York City. We have over 1 million union families that work in New York City, that live in New York City, that are registered to vote in New York City. And we will do everything that we can to make sure that we mobilize them this year, of course, in the national election, as Mario mentioned, working and coordinating with Mario Salento and the state AFL-CIO, working and coordinating with our folks outside of the city in these very important congressional elections to make sure that we make, as Mario said, Hakeem Jeffries the next Speaker of New York Congress. We have a lot of work to do. We're coordinating with our folks, of course, outside, and we have our staff, our great staff here from the Central Labor Council, making sure that they're working not only with our folks here in the state, but also in our neighboring states like Pennsylvania and in other states as well, where we have a lot of retirees. We have retirees, and we're doing everything that we can to reach out to them and make sure that Kamala Harris and Jim Walton next president. And then, of course, in New York City, not too long from now, we're going to be out there. It's 2025, and we'll have New York City elections, of course, and we will do everything that we can to make sure that we have strong pro-worker advocates in the legislature and throughout the city government to make sure that we're doing everything we can, and we will continue. You have my promise, and I know all of you are on the front lines of this fight to doing everything that we can to elect pro-worker legislators, pro-worker borough presidents in the mayor's office, in the controller's office, and doing everything that we can to pass pro-worker legislations and budget. We know at the end of the day that the labor movement has been the greatest institution for protecting the working class and creating an economy that works for all. So whether we are doing it together here in the city or throughout the state, coordinating with community groups, with our allies in the fights for civil rights, or as well as with our allies throughout the country, we know that we are going to make sure that we have strong pro-worker, pro-union advocates doing everything they can to improve the lives of the working class throughout this country. So thank you all for being here today. Thank you to the Amsterdam News. Now let's get to work and make sure that the unions are on the front line to make a difference in this direction. Thank you all.
Thank you so much, gentlemen. Thank you for all the work you've done and you will continue to do to make our union strong and to help us organize and to help us make a difference in our communities and in our cities and in our states and in our country. Thank you. So with that, we are bringing this program to a close, and we will be bringing Elise Bryant in a moment to actually close out the event. But I just wanted to thank everyone, myself, for being here, and I also wanted to recognize that September was Hispanic Heritage Month, which we did not acknowledge earlier. So I just wanted to make sure that we did bring light to that, as we represent a little bit of everyone with the Amsterdam News. And again, just thank you all so much for being here and being part of the Amsterdam News family. With that, President Bryan.
Before we close out our celebration today, let us take a moment to honor the passing of our great labor leader who was at the crossroads of the historic connection between labor and the civil rights movement, as was mentioned before, Brother William Bill Lucy. Bill Lucy served as Secretary-Treasurer of the American Federation of State, County, and Municipal Employees from 1972 to 2010. He was an organizer at the Memphis Sanitation Workers Strike. He was there on the day that Dr. King was assassinated. And he is, and was, and forever shall be, a man of quality. Because as my brothers here know and show, a man of quality is not threatened by a woman seeking equality. And in the words of Sam Elliott, be a man, vote for a woman. Amen. We all know the importance of our union members' vote and the black vote in the game-changing election. I'm sure you're like me, singing Stevie Wonder's song. I'm gonna knock on your door, tap on your window, and to get out the vote in this country. And thanks to the Amsterdam News, a place of facts, a place where you can go and you know you're gonna get the truth. And its publishers, Sister Chatham, 1199 SEIU President Greg Floyd, my co-host of Labor Union Women Sisters over there, New York Taylor, and all the labor leaders in attendance, and all the ancestors who are here with us. Congratulations to our honorees. I'm from the Midwest. I say Mario. I heard everybody say Mario. I thought, what road? That Midwest thing. You say Mario or Mario? Thank you, brother. Thank you, Brother Vincent. And so we're going to take a moment just here to give honor and thanks to those who have come to this day from all those places around the world, from Europe, from Africa, from Central and South America. We thank the staff of the Amsterdam News and your unwavering weekly union journalism and annual union events like this breakfast that brings unions together. We are the backbone of democracy. You show me a country without a democratic labor movement, I'll show you a totalitarian state. This is America. We make America what it is today. That's right. The union, in closing, let us remember that in our hands is a place of power greater than their hoarded gold, greater than the might of armies magnified 1,000-fold. We will bring the birth of the new world from the ashes of the old. Because we say to someone, vaginas brought you in, vaginas will take you out. We make the union strong. So join hands together. Black, white, brown, immigrant, indigenous, native born, LGBTQIA, everything in between, in the name of all things sacred and all things holy. Let us say together, solidarity forever. Solidarity forever. And sing, when the union's inspiration through the workers' blood shall run, there can be no power greater anywhere beneath the sun. Yet what for some worth is weaker than the feeble